Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Dam, and you are watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies. And today I want to tell you all about the new Halloween reboot. Now I misspoke a little bit because Halloween is not actually a reboot. It is a sequel to the original Halloween directed by John Carpenter. John Carpenter also produces this movie, but it was written by none other than Danny McBride.
Honey, I love you. I think you're a terrific girl, but you have clothes like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, that Danny McBride.
I fucking wish you'd come on me right now. I fucking dare you to come on me.
Yeah, also that Danny McBride.
Thug life.
Yeah, it's the same Danny McBride. And it was also directed by David Gordon Green, who's most famous for movies like Pineapple Express, also starring Danny McBride. Now, if that seems like an odd mix, it is, but I gotta tell you, it works. Somehow or another, it works. Now, I saw Danny McBride in an interview well over a year ago when this project was in development, and he essentially was just saying he's a big fan, him and David Gordon Green both are big fans of the original, and really just wanted to make a good Halloween movie. That's all they wanted to do. They didn't want to make it funny. And I think they succeeded. This is a very, very worthy sequel to the original. They did a killer job with it, both with the way it's written and with the way it's directed, and I'm going to get into both of those. Now, you can tell it was written by someone with a sense of humor. In no way is this movie a horror comedy, but it has some funny moments. And the thing I liked about it, one, obviously you do need a little comedic relief because Gordon Green did such an incredible job of building tension. They do have to relieve it. This movie would have been exhausting otherwise, and it almost was anyway. That said, the comedy in it, it's clever, but it's not too clever. It's clever in the sense that the characters are funny in the way that real people can kind of be funny. Like, it's not really, there was really only one or two moments where the audience laughed, but there were people being kind of funny, but in a very natural, organic way. And natural and organic is a really good way for me to describe this movie, because even when it like nods back to the original in ways that I'm not going to spoil here, it happens like very organically. Now, obviously, it was written on a page, it was rehearsed, it was done on set, like it was all very well planned out, but it feels very natural throughout the course of the movie, and I thought that was really great. Some other great things to mention, Jamie Lee Curtis, she did a great job. It's been a long time since I've seen her on screen, and I think she gave a really, really great performance. She was intense when she needed to be, she was subdued when she needed to be, she looked the part, and she's fairly famous for like kind of aging gracefully anyway, and she does look older than she does sort of naturally in this movie, but not by a lot. I mean, they didn't hide any of her wrinkles, they didn't particularly take very good care of her hair, but it's all fairly believable with exceptions. I mean, you're talking about a movie with a killer who basically can take a lot of punishment, who can survive through a ungodly amount of sequels, and it just keeps coming. So you do have to suspend disbelief. But I found myself, anytime I was thinking like, I don't know about that, the movie would then follow it up. The thing I was like kind of wincing at, the movie would follow it up with something else, and I'd go, I see what they're doing. So they did a very clever job where they teased me, and then they fixed it. And that was kind of cool. And again, I'm not going to give away any spoilers. I'm just trying not to hype this movie up too much. I mean, what I will say about it is it's not going to change your life. It's just really well done. I think it's going to be one of the best horror movies of 2018, and I think it's got the potential to become a classic. And the reason I say that is because it's got some good tent poles in it. It's got some good moments that you're going to want to watch and rewatch. And the thing about movies like that become classic is even though you've seen it a bunch of times, while you're watching it, you're looking forward to that moment that's coming up. That's what makes like a good classic movie. That's why you want to watch it so many times, or at least it's one of the main reasons. And I think this movie has those. I identified some, and again, time will tell if that proves to be the case, but I think it will be. I would recommend going to see this in the theater. Horror movies, particularly good ones, are best seen with an audience, especially a good audience. If you're sitting with people who are on their phone and they're shaking, for fuck's sake, shaking their popcorn, then they're going to ruin the movie. But I had a very good audience, for the most part, very quiet, reacted great. There's extra tension in the room. It was a fun way to watch the movie, and it does play out really well on the big screen. John Carpenter, again, is responsible for the music, and they did something great. I was hoping we'd have the familiar Halloween tune, and we do. It's prevalent throughout the entire film, but I was hoping we'd hear something new, and you do, and you hear it at a good moment. From my recollection, we're really only hearing familiar Halloween tunes. Then we get a new one that's similar, not real similar, it's fairly different, but we get a new one, and there's this heavy, it's just this loud, and it was really cool. It was the perfect moment to introduce that new thing. And the movie did that throughout with all sorts of little things. They'd give you new, they'd give you old. And I think David Gordon Green did a great job of being subdued. There's not anything too fancy with the camera work. It's just, honestly, in my opinion, and I don't want to overhype it, it's just pitch perfect. It's not breaking ground. It's not doing anything new other than the fact that it's possibly one of the best horror reboots. I'm calling it a reboot because they are sort of reinvigorating the franchise. In terms of that, it's one of the best I've ever seen that I can think of. If you can think of a better one, let me know in the comments below. But something else that I noticed that I'm really psyched about is Danny McBride, a known comedy actor, did a killer job writing just a pitch-perfect horror movie. Classic. You can tell he's a fan of the genre, did a great job. Jordan Peele, a known comedy actor, wrote and directed Get Out, and he did a killer job. Despite what you might think, he did a great job of writing an original horror movie based on his love for the genre. So if that's a new thing in horror, these comedy actors writing really good horror movies, I'm in. I've got two great examples so far. I'm in. Danny McBride wants to do anything else like this in the future, I'm there. I'm watching it. I really loved it. I had somewhat high expectations for it, and it did not disappoint. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments. But I'm going to keep making reviews on new releases like this as long as you keep watching them. But thank you for checking this review out, and you will see me on the next one. Real quick, if you're wondering what's up with the new digs, this is my new podcast setup. If you didn't know I had a podcast, you can check it out on anywhere podcasts are found. That's Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all of those and more. Or you can check it out on YouTube on the Flick Connection Podcast YouTube channel. Now, I've been on a 2-week hiatus. That way I could reboot the show. I'm going to have guests more often, if not every time. And Jenna Cannell, who starred in Terrifier and is in the new Hugh Jackman movie, The Frontrunner, just sat down and joined me. I will be releasing that podcast next week. Be sure to check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Follow the podcast wherever podcasts are found. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of the new format, but I will see you there.